Welcome to AI'm Your Appraiser. This is the deep dive where, we're really going to try and reshape how you think about creativity itself. Artificial intelligence, it's already rapidly transforming almost everything, isn't it? From like finance to healthcare breakthroughs. And now it's pushing us to rethink really fundamental human ideas like, beauty and art. What actually happens when a machine learns to appreciate or maybe even create what we think is beautiful? So our mission today is to explore this really fascinating intersection, AI meeting artistic creation and appreciation. We're going to dig into what the latest research shows about how AI sees beauty, how it creates it, and what that ultimately means for human creativity down the line. And all the fantastic source material for this deep dive, it was gathered by Chandra Mass. She's a general appraiser based in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Chandra really keeps her pulse on all things AI, which honestly, we really appreciate. It's great stuff. So if you happen to be in Chandra's sphere of influence, or you're just curious and want to continue this chat, definitely connect with her on LinkedIn after this. Okay, let's unpack this.
Yeah, I think it's really important to start there, to kind of ground ourselves in how we usually think about art. Because it's pretty deeply ingrained in us, right? When we look at a masterpiece, let's say a Michelangelo sculpture or maybe a Picasso painting, there's this immediate, almost gut feeling, this assumption of individual genius behind it. We just sort of understand that there was a person with specific intentions, a purpose, who made that thing. We value their imagination, their choices, their unique vision.
That's such a crucial point, and it explains why people react so strongly, almost negatively, to forgeries, right? Even if visually you literally can't tell the difference from the original. It's not just about the technical skill in making the copy. It's about that original thought, that spark in the artist's mind that started it all. This idea that this specific thing came from that specific person. And actually, there are studies showing our brains get more pleasure, measurably more, looking at art we think is from a gallery versus, say, something a computer made up. It's like this value we place on a unique thing made by a human, not a machine. It seems almost baked into our psychology, maybe from birth.
And, if we look at the bigger picture, historically speaking, this focus on the artist's individual agency, well, it wasn't always the main thing. If you go back, say, before the European Renaissance, the purpose of the art was often much more central. Think about religious icons or ritual masks, even those really old cave paintings. The function, what it did, was often more important than who made it. The creator was often anonymous. Their agency, as we call it now, wasn't really the focus.
Right, and this shift in how we see art, it leads us straight to a really deep question. What happens when making copies of art becomes easy, widespread? There was this philosopher, Walter Benjamin, who explored this in his essay, The Work of Art in the Age of Mechanical Reproduction. Heard of it?
Vaguely, yeah. The title rings a bell. Well, he introduced this idea of aura. It's about an artwork's unique presence, its specific place in time and history, its originality. And this aura, he argued, it gets weaker with reproduction. Think about it. Early woodcuts, lithographs, they made art more accessible, sure, but the original became less unique. Then you fast forward to today, digital photography. A copy is, well, it's identical to the original file. The whole idea of an original gets fuzzy.
It really does make you wonder. If Benjamin showed how reproduction chips away at that aura, then what happens when the creation itself moves beyond human hands? How does this shift, from human intention to an algorithm generating something? How does that change how we even define beauty? Because that's exactly where AI comes in, right? Despite our biases, our preference for human-made stuff, AI is really challenging those old views. AI has this incredible, almost mind-boggling power to process just vast amounts of data, run simulations, spot patterns humans could never possibly see. Like, think about how AI recently cracked the protein folding problem. That's insanely complex, figuring out a 3D structure from just the basic code.
Exactly. It wasn't just number crunching. It was about finding these super intricate hidden relationships to predict the optimal shape. And that ability to sort of solve for the best configuration, even if it's not art, it kind of parallels how it might solve for aesthetic appeal in an image. It often feels, well, magical to us.
It does feel magical, but then this feels important. You mentioned current AI. It still lacks certain things, right? Like common sense.
That's right. It lacks true common sense as we understand it. It's not great at deep analytical reasoning, understanding abstract concepts or metaphors, and crucially, it doesn't feel emotions. And it doesn't have real agency like a human artist. It doesn't have its own purpose or inner drive to create. Its purpose comes entirely from us, the humans who design it and set its goals. They're tools, incredibly sophisticated tools, yes, but they reflect the data we feed them.
Okay, that distinction feels critical. If AI doesn't have emotions or its own intent, how on earth can it learn something as subjective and human as beauty? What does that even look like inside the machine?
It's a fantastic question, and researchers are really digging into it.
Hmm.
Um, One really interesting study used something called GANalyze. It's type of, a generative adversarial network, or GAN for short. Basically, this AI system was trained to generate images, trying to make them have supposedly increasing aesthetic value, like aiming for more beautiful. And the really striking part,
Mm-hmm.
human judges, when they looked at the results, largely agreed with the AI's assessment. They thought the images the AI ranked higher were generally more aesthetic.
Wow. Okay, so humans kind of validated the AI's eye for beauty in a way.
In a way, yes. It showed the AI could grasp something about aesthetics that aligns with human perception. And the study went deeper. It identified specific visual features that consistently went up as the AI aimed for higher aesthetic value. Things like brightness, contrast, sharpness, color saturation, overall colorfulness, and visual complexity. So visually, you saw a shift. It moved away from images that were maybe clustered and had lots of dark grays towards images with a wider range of brighter, more intense colors. But here's a really thought-provoking twist. They found this asymmetry. While people generally liked the more aesthetic images the AI made, the AI was actually better at making images that humans saw as less beautiful.
Wait, hang on. The AI was better at making ugly pictures than beautiful ones, especially when pushed to the max?
Kind of, yeah. Especially at the extreme end, when it was really trying hard to maximize those good features, it was more consistently successful at generating images people rated low than images people consistently rated very high.
That is weird. That's a real mind bender. So being better at making something less beautiful, what does that even suggest?
Well, it suggests that maybe beauty isn't just about maxing out certain features, right? It's perhaps more about a delicate balance, a kind of harmony. Pushing those features too far might actually disrupt some higher level composition, or maybe crosses a line where it stops feeling real or pleasant and just becomes too much, overdone.
So beauty's in the balance, not just the extreme. That really hits home. It really underlines how that old idea, creativity being this untouchable human thing. Well, that idea is genuinely being tested now. So, okay, if AI can learn these principles, even with these weird quirks, how is it actually showing up in the art world? Is it just a fancy tool or is it more?
Oh, it's rapidly becoming much more than just a tool, like a sophisticated paintbrush. It's definitely being used that way, enhancing what artists call the divergent phase of creation. Rapidly spitting out tons of possibilities, serving as quick drafts. Platforms like Midjourney or DALL-E, you've probably heard of them.
Yeah, definitely. See the images everywhere.
Right. They can generate incredibly different images in all sorts of styles, literally in minutes. That gives artists a whole new way to brainstorm and explore ideas. That ability to just visualize dozens of variations instantly, it really changes the creative workflow. But AI's role is stretching beyond that. It's really starting to act like a partner to human artists in some cases. You look at Mike Tyka's Portraits of Imaginary People, where AI just generates endless unique faces, or Refik Anadol's big installation at MoMA, unsupervised.
Oh, I heard about that one, the massive moving screen.
Exactly. Anadol trained an AI on MoMA's entire collection, and the AI transforms that data into this constantly shifting, flowing digital artwork. People watching it reportedly felt real aesthetic pleasure. It even supposedly altered brain activity. And then there's Anna Riddler. She uses AI in her Mosaic Virus series, but not just to make pretty pictures. She uses it to comment on society, linking the old Dutch tulip mania to Bitcoin prices.
Ah, so using AI conceptually to make a point. That shows clear human direction, human agency guiding the tool.
Precisely. It demonstrates human intent using AI to explore complex ideas.
So it's clear from all this, AI isn't just some tech demo anymore. It's making stuff that gets a real response, even critical commentary. And it seems like the traditional art world is starting to take notice, maybe even accept it.
Absolutely. I mean, you had that AI-generated portrait, Edmund de Bellamy, sell for, what was it, over $400,000 at Christie's auction house.
Wow, $432,500, I think?
Right. That kind of sale at a major institution like Christie's, it definitely signals that AI art is being given a place in the serious art market. But as you can imagine, this also kicks up a lot of debate, a lot of concern within the art community.
I bet. What are the main worries?
Well, a big one is the potential devaluing of traditional human creativity. Artists worry, if AI can churn out similar work faster and cheaper, will it undercut their value, their livelihood? There's also a very real fear of job displacement. Illustrators, graphic designers, people who make visuals for a living, they're understandably concerned. And another layer is this worry that art might lose its edge, its ability to be innovative or subversive. If AI learns based on what's already popular, will it just create more of the same? Will art become predictable, dictated by algorithms predicting popularity?
So it leads back to that fundamental question, doesn't it? Is there something essential, some human spark in art that AI just can't replicate because it lacks lived experience, consciousness, real intention?
That is the core question, absolutely.
Right.
Is there an essence AI can't touch? And the research is interesting here, too. Studies do show people often prefer art they think is human-made. There's
Yeah.
definitely a bias against AI art. We seem to want that human connection.
We want to believe in the person behind it.
Exactly. But interestingly, other studies suggest that if we anthropomorphize the AI, think of it in human-like ways, give it a name or a perceived personality, some of that bias can actually lessen.
Huh. So how we think about the AI changes how we value its output.
It seems so. It's this really complex interplay between our built-in preferences and how we're adapting to this new technology. It's like a dance.
Okay, so as we start to wrap this up, it's just incredibly clear that our whole understanding of art, beauty, creativity, it's really going through a massive shift right now. AI isn't just a tool anymore. It's clearly an active player, an innovative force, sometimes even a partner in making art, pushing boundaries we probably didn't even know were there.
It really is.
Yeah.
And this whole exploration, this deep dive into AI and art, it forces us, I think, to face up to a pretty significant moral responsibility. Not just as artists or art lovers, but as a society. We have a choice ahead of us, don't we? Will we take the challenging path, the one requiring deep thought and effort, the path of human-AI synergy, where we really learn to harness AI's power, but keep it under careful human guidance, to genuinely boost our own creativity, explore totally new kinds of expression? Or will we maybe take the easier route, the seductive path of convenience, where we risk handing over creative control, letting algorithms decide what's beautiful or popular, and in doing so, maybe chip away at or even lose that deeply human core that has always defined art?
That's a heavy choice. The path of synergy versus the path of convenience, potentially erasing the human essence.
It feels like the future of art and maybe something core to our own creative spirit could really hang on that decision.
Definitely powerful thoughts to chew on. We really hope you, the listener, reflect on these questions. And again, we invite you to connect with Chandra Mast on LinkedIn. Share your thoughts on AI, its role in art, its role in our lives. Thanks for diving deep with us today on AI'm Your Appraiser.